and Resorts branch to Georgetown, Guyana. Executive officer at Hits and Jams, Kerwin Bollers, revealed the construction of the two-tower building is valued at some $200 million.
Construction of the Sheraton Hotel and Resort is a joint venture undertaken through an agreement signed by Marriott International with H Towers Inc., the Trewest Financial Group, and Black Pearl Holding Company. The 200-room hotel and 224 residential suites for living will expand the company's existing portfolio here with its extravagant residential, commercial, and retail centers, offering guests a variety of experiences to explore.
Tropical Storm Alex, the first named storm of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season, lashed Bermuda with heavy rain and strong winds over the weekend. Though lives were lost in Cuba and parts of Florida were left deluged, it didn't leave much damage in Bermuda in its wake. In sports, the Reggae Boys came out victorious to beat Suriname 3-1 in their second CONCACAF Nations League game at the National Stadium. Goals from Ravel Morrison in the 16th minute, Junior Flemings in the 43rd, and Jamal Lowe in the 69th overturned Yannick Wildschutz's equalizer in the 20th minute. The match was in danger of not coming off as the senior team demanded the resignation of Jamaica Football Federation's General Secretary Dalton Wint in light of the faulty travel arrangements, which saw the team arrive a day later than scheduled from Suriname after their 1-1 draw in their League A opener. Wint has tendered his resignation. West Indies and Pakistan are now in play in the first one-day international in Malton. The three ODIs are part of the Super League cycle, and both sides are eager to secure crucial points to directly qualify for the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2023. Netball Jamaica will have the services of Australian high-performance coach Robert Wright starting later this month as it looks to begin its Centre Pass program. Wright is expected to spend 6 months in Jamaica, during which time he will be working with local coaches and umpires, amongst other things. Meanwhile, Netball Jamaica was also the recent recipient of Australian $20,000 or approximately 2.2 million Jamaican from the Australian High Commission towards its Centre Pass program, focusing on a technical enhancement. The Centre Pass program will make stops in all 14 parishes, starting with Portland. And that's the news.
The Bible says in Psalm 100 to make a joyful noise unto the Lord. All ye lands, serve the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Come on, y'all, help me praise the Lord. Come on, everybody, are you ready to sing? Yeah. Jesus is the way and he's my everything. Every single moment of every day. I'm gonna trust in Jesus when I say I'm gonna praise the Lord.
When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no.
It is time for Yes with Yesse. Please welcome your host, Yesenia Leva.
Good evening, New Season Gospel FM. Good evening. How awesome is that? My song, because I declared that song. Played right before starting the show. I love it. I wish I could play the whole thing, but we don't have time for that. But I absolutely love it. Love that song. Miss Mina, we should play that next time you're on the air too. I tried to get her to play it this morning for us, but we didn't know the name of it. But good evening, New Season Gospel FM. Good evening, YouTube family. Good evening out there. Good evening to everybody on the road, whether you're going home. Some of you guys are going to work. Some of you guys are going to the grocery store. Good evening to you. Drive safely, because I know for me, I had to wait a little while to come over to here to the station because of the beautiful rain and gloominess. I am not a fan of driving in the rain, but you got to do what you got to do until I can get a driver to drive me around, and I will live happily ever after. Just kidding. I'm too independent for that. Yes, you couldn't find it when you needed it. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to rewind it after the show and write it down for you. But awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please, again, take a moment to share the broadcast. Share the broadcast so that the whole world knows that Yesse is on tonight, every Thursday, here with you guys, right after the Caribbean news around 6:10 in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time. So yes, share. And of course, we get together here for just a moment to just reflect or speak about, rather, just different things related to disability. Right? Disability, empowerment, sometimes nothing to do with disability, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a disability to go through certain things, right? So many things are just universal. It just so happens that we happen to have a disability, and like I call it, it's not spina bifida, it's spina beautiful. And so because it's spina beautiful, we have to live life as beautiful as possible with the obstacles, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And here we are, and it's totally okay. So my goal is always to just give you a little tad of information, nuggets, just to really increase your awareness of this whole world of differences, right? Because sometimes we're not affected by a difference or a disability. We don't have a close family member or whatever the case, so we just ignore it. And so I believe in, instead of ignoring or not paying mind to a certain topic, embrace it and make it okay, so that you never know, you can help somebody. You can help somebody else with a simple resource, a piece of information, just a shoulder to lean on, a word of encouragement. A simple word of encouragement goes a long way. Absolutely goes a long way. And before I continue, because I think I forget often and I don't want to forget tonight, un saludo a toda la gente latina que está allá afuera escuchando alrededor del mundo. Esto también es para ustedes porque somos bilingües. We are totally trilingual universal station, and that's the beauty of it, right? Que todo el mundo es bienvenido y que una diferencia o una discapacidad puede tocarle a cualquier persona en cualquier momento. Y lo bello es poder hablar del tema, poder informarte, darte información, referencias y hacerte sentir incluido en la comunidad, to help everyone feel included in the community, regardless, in spite of that which makes us different. And that's why I love it. Por eso amo lo que es la diversidad, amo la radio y el poder tener esta plataforma para proveerles información y referencias que los pueda ayudar. And you guys know, everybody else listening, that I absolutely love the platform to be able to provide that information, that piece of encouragement to everybody, just on a universal level, because I do believe that we are one. We are one community. We are absolutely one community. Nobody's better than anybody else. Nobody is, we're just one community, guys, regardless of our differences and regardless of our backgrounds. So one of my favorite songs, I have a lot of favorite songs, I know, okay, and if it was me, I would live in concerts my entire life, but I don't have money like that yet, so soon. But I was introduced actually here to Matt Rivera, and Matt Rivera is really good. Like really good. So the first song that I'm going to play for you guys is Hay Libertad. And Hay Libertad in English means that there is freedom, there is liberty. And I love that, because there is freedom, there is liberty, and just really genuinely accepting who you are and whose you are. Graves into Gardens. I need to find the right one, because I think I played it last week or so and it wasn't the right one, but I'm gonna find the correct one, that my favorite one rather. So it's Hay Libertad, that we have to find freedom and really genuinely being okay and accepting who we are as a person. For me, there is liberty in knowing that, look, I live with a disability. It doesn't define me. It is a part of me, and I know what I have to do to be good, to be healthy, to be in the community, to be employed, to do what I have to do to just be a person, regardless of that disability. But I do understand, and I do know that if I was not self-aware and I did not know about my disability, and I did not know about the things that I have to work on and that I need help with, then I wouldn't be true to myself and who I am. So there is libertad. Hay libertad en saber quiénes somos y de quién somos, porque somos hijos de Dios. Also to know whose we are, because we are God's children. Saber quiénes somos y de quién somos, hay libertad, como dice esta canción que les voy a tocar ahora mismo. So here you go, guys, featuring Matt Rivera. Hay libertad en la casa de Dios, y ahí vamos a cantar con él.
Libertad, porque soy su hijo, porque soy su hijo. Hoy puedo danzar con libertad, porque soy amado, porque soy amado. Yeah.
Hallelujah. There is freedom. There is freedom in the house of the Lord. There is freedom in genuinely embracing who you are. There is freedom in your faith. There is freedom being here with you guys, just talking, just me and you in the microphone and the entire world. There is freedom in that. There is freedom in expression. And it's incredible, incredible, incredible feeling to just be yourself. You know what's funny? I come obviously on Thursdays here to do Just with Yes with Yesse, and I'm here with you guys, and it's like Thursday ends and then I'm like, okay, when is church again? Because I'm like ready to go to church already on Sunday, and I'm like, okay, can we fast forward Thursday to Sunday? Because there's just like a freedom in being in the house of the Lord and just being here, and it's just a, you know, for me it's become a place where I can just be me, right? And that is a blessing to have that opportunity. And to be honest, that is my prayer for all of my students, all of my kids, everyone that I come across, is that that the world becomes a safe space where they can just genuinely be themselves, regardless of the differences, right? Regardless of your physical limitations, regardless of all of that, just embrace it, starting with, and be accepted, starting with those closest to you, which sometimes is so hard because they want the best for you. And sometimes the path that you take, they might not consider that to be the best for you. And so there comes these little, you know, battles and obstacles, but just to be free and to just embrace one another and live and let live. Live and let live, and just, you know, allow people to be genuinely who they are. So that's why I absolutely, love it here. Good evening to everybody that's tuning in. I so appreciate you guys so much. Brother James, thank you so much. Good evening to you. Haven't seen you in a while. Brother Philip, thank you for joining in as well. I'm so happy that you are joining and just taking a moment to just enjoy with us, guys. And later on, we'll be talking on a little topic about identity. And Sister Mina, this is something that is very close to her heart, and she talks about it a lot. And so for me, it's going to have a twist to it. And I had something happen to me very recently that, you know, when I'm thinking about today, I'm like, maybe I can touch on that and help somebody that is watching. So please stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, because pretty soon we will get into our topic. And before we do that, though, I'm going to play this song because I did want to hear it last week and I did not get the chance to, but I am going to play it. This is for me. I'm going to say it's for me, but it's also for Sister Mina. So I'm going to play really quick. Good Father, because he is a good Father. So here we go. And on the way back, we will get into our topic.
Come on, put your heart on him. Come on. I wanna be like you, Jesus. He oído miles de historias acerca cómo eres tú, y escucho tu dulce voz en la noche, y en mi soledad tú me dices que te agrado y que nunca me dejarás. Eres buen Padre, si eres tú, eres tú. Eres tú, y soy amado por
we know where our help comes from. My confidence comes from you, God. Our confidence comes from God. No matter what, no matter what, no matter our differences. And I'm like tearing because I wasn't planning on playing that song, and I'm so happy that I did because it goes perfectly with what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about tonight. And again, this came up from something that, or a conversation rather that I had with someone the other day, and it really got me thinking. In fact, when we were having this conversation, I teared up. I've always been a crier, but then I toughened up and I'm like not crying anymore, and now I'm like more emotional, especially in these kind of topics and when I care. So I got teary. Don't judge me. Good evening. Good evening, Sister Diane. Good evening. Thank you for joining, Reverend Crescent and Pastor Henry. Excuse me. Good evening, and thank you for joining. So, question: does the person that you are aligned with who you really are? So, does the person does the person that you are align with who you really are? And that's the correct way to say it. Does the person you are align with who you really, really are? Okay, and so this can take different meanings. This definitely can take different meanings, but I want to put it in the context of my personal situation, or my personal experience rather, living with a disability, and anyone else in that situation where it's kind of like, okay, does who I am or does who I portray to be really align with who I really, really am? Who is the man or who is that woman in the mirror? When you look in the mirror and that image, that person that reflects back to you, who is that? Who is it that is looking back? Is it who you think it is? Is it for me? Is it who I think that I am when it reflects back at me? Yet perhaps it's not who I thought I was. I remember that when I began going to self-development workshops and those kind of events, one of the exercises that I did early on was looking in the mirror. They gave us a mirror, they had us look in the mirror, and they would ask us, like, who is that person? And at the time, it was very emotional because a lot of times we look in that mirror and we don't know really who we are. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's Jesse. Okay, well, who's Jesse? Or that's Sister Diane. Who's Sister Diane, or Rev, or Sister Mina? Who is it? Who are you when you look in that mirror? And are you really the person that you portray to be? So all of that comes down to identity. And so this would go for everybody, right? But what happens when we deny someone the opportunity to know that thing, or to know about that thing that is part of their identity? And so this is where I can go into what happened is, I was told of a story of a mom who was not okay, or preferred not to have her daughter know that she has a disability. So her daughter was born. Years later, the young woman has no idea that she has this disability. And so when I heard that, and I continued to learn about the story, I'm in tears, because I'm like, why, in my mind, I'm like, why would you deny someone that opportunity to know that they have this disability, which is a part of who they are? It is a part of and a piece of their identity. In my mind, I'm like, if we deny anybody that opportunity to know that they are different and in this particular way, and that they are uniquely and wonderfully made in the image of God, regardless of this particular thing that makes them different to society, then I'm denying that person opportunity. I'm denying them services. I'm denying them accommodations in the school system, or in the employment world. Because if you deny yourself or someone else the opportunity or the ability to know that they have this particular diagnosis, and if you don't put that on paper, you get nothing. You get no services, you get no social security benefits if you need it, you get no accommodations in the workplace, you get nothing, because you have nothing to show, nothing to prove that you have this particular disability, other than the obvious. Whether it's physical, whether it's whatever it is, whatever that disability is, that's the only thing that you have. And so that's a lot, right? I say, well, that's the only thing that you have to show for it. It's a lot to show for it, but again, if it's not on paper, it didn't happen. So that's what I heard. That's a piece of the story that I was told, and I was originally, in the beginning, I was kind of offended by it because I'm like, why would you deny somebody? I'm laughing about it now, but it wasn't funny at the time. I'm like, why would you deny someone that opportunity to know about their difference, about their disability, for all of the reasons that I just mentioned? And so the reason that that happened, the reason that some parents or whomever it might be, a caregiver, feels like that's necessary to deny that person the knowledge of their disability can be many things, right? But in my mind, it could be shame. They're ashamed of whatever that disability is, or we don't want them to be defined by their disability. And that's fine. The second one is fine. The fact that I don't want to have my daughter or my son or whomever defined by that disability, so I'd rather them not know because I love them and I want the best for them, that's fine. I get that. But again, is that healthy to where we're denying that individual the opportunity, the ability to know and learn about that which makes them different, to then be able to gather whatever resource, whatever service is available to them to help them live a healthy, fulfilled, successful life. Lately, I've been watching a lot of videos on my phone of what would you do. I so would love to do a video of what would you do in these kind of situations. So I'm going to ask you, what would you do? You know, what would you do if you know that there's this, if you have a child, you have a son, daughter, a nephew, a niece, a young at that, and would you consider that denying them the opportunity or the information of their diagnosis? Do you think that that's helpful? I love that show. What would you do? You know, do you think that that's helpful? To me, I don't see it much different than knowing about your culture, about your background, about where you come from. To me, it's kind of the same thing. Different but the same. Right? So what would you do if you find yourself or someone that you know in those situations? Again, the two reasons that we deny someone the opportunity to know that they're different with a disability is either shame, or we don't want them to be defined by their disability. What I would love, and I was thinking about this earlier, what I would love the world to know, moms, dads, caregivers, the listeners, a disability, a diagnosis, an illness does not define you. Young woman, young man, I don't mind what age you are, a disability does not define you. It's kind of like that circle of life, right? So we're born and we're good and we're healthy. At any given moment, the Lord keep us all safe and healthy always. Now, but at any time, something can happen. We've been praying for those, affected by cancer. We've been praying for blood issues and high blood pressure issues. It happens. But what are we going to do the moment that we are quote unquote hit with it, the moment that it comes, the moment that it impacts our lives? How are we preparing ourselves to receive it and to then be able to receive it? Might not be the right word, but to embrace that thing and fight the good fight to overcome whatever it is that we have to overcome without losing our identity of who we were or who we were before that happened. For those of that, it happens later on in life. So you want to protect that identity of who you were before that because it doesn't go away. You're still that person. Or who are you? What is your identity in spite of that particular diagnosis? Whether it's Down syndrome, whether it's spina bifida like myself, whether it's mental health, who are you? Before, during, and after, right? Because you're the same before, during, and after that diagnosis, that test, that whatever it is. Right? So that's what I would love to tell the world, A diagnosis, a disability, it does not define you. You are a young man, you're a young woman, you're a child, regardless of your age, but it is a part of you. And unless, again, you are educated on it and you acknowledge it and you embrace it, and I'm not talking about embrace it and tell the world that you have it. Absolutely not. Again, because you would be defining yourself with it. But embrace it in a healthy way, where by embracing it, you're not afraid to talk about it and you're not afraid to ask for help. I can tell you the first time that I was asked, who is Yesse? Take away the spina bifida, who is Yesse? I had no idea. I was a lot younger, but I had no idea who I was without that word, that label of spina bifida, because that's what my life was about for so long. The medical issues and the fevers and the surgeries and the side effects and the medications and the inabilities, and that's what it was all about, and the accommodations and the issues in the education system and the issues, taking the bus, having to take 2 buses and a taxi to get to work because I couldn't drive, or so I thought I couldn't drive. So all of that, when my world revolved around it, around the difficulties, I put that label on myself as being spina bifida. And so it wasn't until I was like, okay, no, I'm not spina bifida. Again, because of what I surrounded myself with the people I surrounded myself with, by going to these workshops and these self-development workshops where I learned, okay, disability is a part of me, spina bifida is a part of me, but it's not who I am. Okay, so who are you? What are your skills? What are your talents? What are your abilities? Who do you surround yourself with? Who's your community? What are your likes and dislikes? What are your dreams and your aspirations? That encompasses who I am. What do you do with your time? And so then it becomes difficult, because I can testify to that, is that it becomes difficult to not embrace who you are, as much as it is difficult to be who you truly are, regardless of the surrounding that you're in, or regardless of the environment that you're in. And so because of my character, because of who I am, and because perhaps how I was raised and the differences and difficulties that I had to overcome, I can tell you that it's not to say I'm a different person where I go, but if I'm comfortable and I'm good and I feel accepted and I feel, genuinely empowered and just to be me, then that's one person. But if I'm in an area, if I'm in an environment, if I'm around people, and sometimes it could be family, it could be friends, it could be strangers, where I'm not myself. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm who I need to be here, but over here I'm me. Because again, I'm comfortable, I'm good, I know that I can be me no matter what. I'm not judged, I'm not I'm included, etc. Versus in a different area or in a different surrounding, not so much. So I'm quiet. Those of you that know me over here at New Season, like, I'm talkative and I'm interactive, and I just, it's me. I love being here. I love what we do. I love all of this. I love radio. I love the diversity. So this is me. This is everything that embraces who I am, aside from the disability, because it's, again, the disability is a part of me. It just doesn't determine who I am. Now I can be in another place where maybe there's, I don't know, it sounds terrible, but maybe it's more disability focused, or, they don't believe in God, or they don't necessarily let me be me as far as being independent. Something as simple as getting my own cup of coffee, or having some kind of choice. If I don't have that somewhere, then that's not me. So I'm not comfortable. So that's something that it's a work in progress every single day. Like, look, this is me. This is what I can do. These are my talents. These are my skills. This is what I want. Because a lot of times people forget to ask us what it is that we want, especially those closest to us, to really let others know who I am as a person. And that is something that it happens a lot with people with disabilities, because we're so concentrated on that disability that this mom is like, you know what, I don't want my daughter to go through that, so I'm just not going to tell her she has a disability. We're going to keep it moving, and so on. And this is the most amazing, beautiful young lady I've ever met. I know who she is, and she has incredible talents, and the way she talks to other young girls with disabilities is incredible, because she doesn't want them to be defined by that disability. But again, she's a young woman now, so it's like, okay, now I need you to keep that attitude, but embrace who you are, all of you, every part of you, every aspect of you, so that you can get everything that is required or everything that you're quote unquote entitled to as far as services and things for yourself. And that includes acknowledging your disability. Why? More than anything in the world, because mom and dad are not going to be there forever. Moms, dads, you're not going to be there forever. Caregivers, you're not going to be there forever. So there's going to come a time where that individual has to advocate for themselves, has to learn, and the only way that they're going to be able to do that is by really, again, embracing who they are, knowing all their documentation, knowing their diagnosis, knowing their side effects, whatever we want to call it. That's the only way. I'm working with a young man now, and I had to take him to an appointment. I took him to an appointment yesterday. And he's a young man. He knows what his disability is. He has spina bifida. He's in a wheelchair though, so he doesn't walk. But in other ways, I don't think that he has realized that he's a young man now. He's not a kid. He's a young man. It's a different lifestyle. You have to be responsible. You're growing up. And so all of that, it's not just about your disability and needing service. No, it's about being a human being. You're a person. You're a human first. And then your disability comes secondary to who you are. But I need you to be smart about it. I need you to take care of yourself. I need you to look professional. I need you to embrace it. Now we're in this office, I need you to tell them you need accommodations. I need you to tell them that you need help. It's okay to ask for help. But we're not going to make it okay to ask for help if we don't embrace who we are. Fully, truly embrace who we are. I'm telling you, I was so passionate about that the other day. I was like, oh my goodness, what is happening right now? That was exactly my thought process. And so the same way that it's important for us to know who we are when you take away our disability, as I mentioned, we have to know all of it. Who we are with the disability, without the disability, who we are as a human being. Because before anything else, we are definitely simply a human being. And that's the best thing to be, right? And it is equally important to know that, and just to reiterate to you guys, that it is equally important to know who we are as an individual, as it pertains to our talents, our skills, our abilities, our self-awareness, our likes, our dislikes. It's continual. It's a constant change. It's a constant change, just like our health and just like our disability. I can be good today, and later on in life, when I'm 60, 70, 80 years old, I'm going to need more help. But don't assume that because I have this disability, I need all of this help now, and you're going to put me in a nursing home. We're not doing that. We can't generalize either. Let's get to know ourselves. Let's get to know one another. Make it okay to let others know your needs, to be able to help you, because if they don't know, they can't help you. And that all rounds up into knowing who you are, your identity as a person first, disability second. You put that together, what do you get? You get you, wonderfully made in the image of God, with all of our imperfections. So that's what I kind of wanted to share with you guys tonight, to just genuinely embrace who you are. The quicker you embrace who you are, all of you from head to toe, the easier life is, in a sense. The easier life is when you know what's out there to help you. Denai, good evening. I see you. Good evening. Thank you for joining. And I hope you had a great birthday. I know you had a birthday recently, so happy belated birthday. Hope you enjoyed it. And to really, again, connect with community and like so many of you that are on tonight, I appreciate it very much, is get connected to the community. Get connected to stations like New Season Gospel FM. Get connected to social media. Get connected to the world to learn and to educate yourself. And make it a sense of normalcy. Make it normal. Make this normal. Make these conversations normal. Make these conversations a thing. Because the more we make them a thing, the more we learn. Just like we've been talking about mental health and all of these different things, we have to make it okay to have these conversations and help each other with knowledge and awareness as we have been doing. So all of that, guys, becomes a part of your identity, and then comes in, obviously, like I said, the services, accommodations, the community support, and all of that. And without the self-awareness, how will you know to ask for help? So self-awareness is everything. Absolutely everything. Okay. And then the same way, you'll know your worth. You'll definitely know your worth and your value with all of this. And then in the areas that you surround yourself with, who you do life with, the people you do life with, you know, the ability to work, the ability to do something. Everybody can do something. I believe that 100%. Everybody can do something. So what it is, or what is it rather, that you can do? Whatever that thing is, make sure you do it. Embrace it. Do it. Make it yours and run with it. Make it yours and run with it, right? So before you do that, though, again, we have to embrace our differences and get educated and all of that stuff so that we can live life to the fullest. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I have come a long way. I'm grateful to be able to speak to you guys tonight and everybody out there listening. If you know anyone that can benefit, if you will, from this program, please share the broadcast. Please share it with them. Share with them New Season Gospel FM. Find us on Facebook, New Season Gospel FM, all across social media. I have a group for Yes with Yesse, just like the name of the show, where I'll do different posts, resources, information. I'll post the shows on a weekly basis, and stay connected, because it only takes one person, one resource, one piece of information, one word, one smile to change your life. So stay connected. Follow Yes with Yesse. Follow New Season Gospel FM so that you can stay connected to all of the shows that we have going on during the week. And if you enjoy it and you love it and you share it, please consider supporting New Season Gospel FM. Consider supporting New Season Gospel FM because we definitely need your support, and we can't do it without you. So please do that, and join us again tomorrow. Tomorrow's Fun Friday, y'all. Tomorrow's Fun Friday, and then we're off to the weekend. We're off to the weekend. Join us again tomorrow. Of course, we have, look at Denai J. Denai J is 24 years young. 24 years young. Good stuff. Make sure you keep going, keep it moving. And like we said, just take every day as a blessing and see where life takes you. So happy birthday to you. So join us again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Fun Friday, or like I like to say, Fun Friday, with Pastor Steve alongside Pastor Henry. And before that, though, in his presence at 6:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. in his presence, which is always a blessing to be on, connected for a time of prayer, devotion, and even testimonies. And it's so important to do that, because I think in my experience, it just motivates you to either share your testimony. It gives you, light to know that, it is possible. God does answer prayers, and he definitely does. He definitely does. So join us tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. and then later on for Fun Friday at 8:30. And enjoy your weekend. We will definitely be here Sunday, 11 a.m. for church day. It's always a good time. So before we go, I'm going to play a little something for you guys. If you are definitely interested in giving and supporting and helping us grow, because you guys are definitely a part of our growth here at New Season Worship Center, New Season Gospel FM, I want to share with you guys ways that you can give. Maybe this is your first time listening in and you don't know. So I'm going to share it with you guys. Here we go. Thanks for listening to New Season Gospel FM. We are listener-supported radio. If you are blessed by this broadcast, Would you prayerfully consider partnering with us? Zelle is 954-536-1821, Cash App, New Season WC, or visit our website, newseasonfm.com. Our address is 4660 North University Drive, Lauderhill, Florida, 33351. Thank you and God bless. I'm not gonna lie, that's my favorite part. Good night, everybody. Good night. Have a blessed evening, and we will do it again, all over again, rather, next week, Thursday, here on another episode of Yes with Yesse. Until then, have a great rest of the day and have a great weekend.
So